All right, I think they're ready for us. Let's get it. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. I am one of your co-hosts of the show, Hayes, aka AO Shifty. Always trying to just bring you quality content week in and week out. This week, it'll be me holding it down. Steven has some things that he's taking care of, so prayers up to them, and I hope everything is good so that next week, I'll have the co-host back, but what he's doing is much more important than the show. I just want to end up letting everyone know that to start. This episode is going to be a little bit different. It won't be as long as our other episodes. It'll be more so me providing you with the meat and potatoes of everything, not a lot of the fluff. So I'll just dive into a lot of the things. As housekeeping notes, you all just know that Steven's been working on the quick slants. He's been putting out the blogs, but he's also been doing it on Spotify as well. So make sure to tune into that because I listened to the one last week and it was really good content. One, because I don't always have the time to research and dive into a lot of things college sports. So I can just chop it up with Steven, or I can end up listening to his takes on college football, then start to develop my own opinions and thoughts when it comes to the world of college football, what's coming up and things of that nature. Other thing is, as I noted to everyone last week, and I announced earlier this week on the Spaces, next week I will be starting the Near NFT Spaces series. So this is something that I am looking forward to, super excited for. I have started to talk to a lot of different NFTs in the Near ecosystem, and it'll be used for two different ways. One, for me to end up learning more about Near NFTs themselves, but two, to continue to end up spreading the word about Near NFTs that are out there. And the ones that I feel and view are more so like the strong knit communities that'll be around for a while. I will end up changing one of the three different accounts that we have under like Shift Movement. Either I'll do it the week on next, Shift Movement, or I'll do mine, and it'll become one of the Near NFTs. There's three or four that I've been looking at right now, but I'll let everyone end up deciding which ones they feel are good, but then I'll also give my own vote on which communities and which managers and which founders I feel as though I align with mainly the most. As everyone sees, like D Guides is the main one here. I will be switching D Guides soon. There's like three or four that I think are super dope. Also, one of the other accounts will be switched to once Blocksmith ends up creating that dope ass art that I have been seeing the pictures for. When that comes out, that'll be another one. So just stay tuned and make sure to end up stay glued in for everything that we're doing. Solana NFTs, we're going on episode 20. So thank you to everyone that's been supporting that and listening to it week in and week out. We have that on Monday. So always make sure to tune in for that. The Monday one and the Wednesday ones are always going to be live and they will be recorded. The one that we do the podcast, we normally record that one, put it out on Thursdays. So it'll be at least 3 to 4 times a week. You will be getting content and stuff from us. So that's what we're always trying to do, give it to you guys different ways so we continue to stay consistent and help just be the content creators we can be for whether it's the sports world, the financial world, college football, any and everything. That's what we're trying to do. And that's been like our main goals. Another thing I wanted to end up letting everyone know about is I'm going to start incorporating more giveaways. I never wanted the channels to be strictly giveaways. That's how we gain fans and how we gain subscribers. I always wanted everything to be organic. And that's what I continue to want to do. But I do want to give back to all the people that supported us from the beginning. So thank you for that. I also got a request last week. They knew who they are to talk more about the Kardashians. Psych, I'm joking. They said the opposite, actually. But so shout out, and I appreciate all the love and support that we end up getting every single week when it comes to our different segments, because you all are paying attention, you're listening, you're receiving, you're texting me, you're hitting me up on Twitter, your different projects are reaching out to me to end up getting on the shows. So it's exciting. And we've been doing this for over a year. We haven't been caring about the subscribers. If they come, they come. But we've always had this mentality of it's just two dudes chopping it up on the internet. And it was just a way for us. We started during COVID. Steven and I weren't always able to see each other. So doing this was a great way to end up just talking about different things. We'll start to incorporate different events, and then we'll start to talk about each other's lives more, especially with August coming around. And then once September comes, it'll be stupid college football and NFLs we'll be talking about in November. We have FIFA. So it's a lot of content that we're going to have. The big months are just June and July, getting through those, especially because it was mainly baseball. And we don't always highlight baseball, but I wanted to end up putting that on the show. So those are things you can look forward to as we continue to go forward. Just wanted to start off by saying thank you. Another thing going into the crypto and finance world, you will start to hear me talk a little bit more about different terminologies when it comes to stocks or cryptos on the show. I've been doing a lot more reading, although I've been doing technical analysis at times. My bread and butter has always been the fundamental analysis. That's kind of how I created my company and stuff, because I've done a lot of research, looked up different companies. I was able to call for some of my investors, Luna, and I sold at the top, which was a good thing. Others I had to take profit a little bit later. Other ones that are out there that I'm still waiting on to leave zero. Luxo has been another one that has done very well. I've seen that. And Solana has been one that I've been able to profit and make money off of in that way. And a lot of this was from fundamental analysis, researching, looking at different articles, having people on the show, and doing it that way. I want to start moving more into technical analysis too. I'm going to start focusing on the stocks aspect first, then I'll drift over into the crypto side. And talking about stocks like I just did, earnings season is right here for a lot of companies. And this is a big time of the year that you end up getting an indication of how the market is going to go. In terms of the Fed, Jay Powell said that they're going to increase interest rates by 75 basis points. Some people call it BIPs, 0.75. So it went up apparently from 1.5 to 2.25. So that's one big thing. Shopify missed, and inflation will continue to affect them moving forward, they said, in 2022. So that's something that was important. And they're also laying off 10% of their workforce. Again, I've said this when it comes to cryptocurrency companies, and I'm going to say it again. It's affecting a lot of people. The inflation, people didn't always think that was going to be the case, the way that COVID hit, and then we had to pour money into the economy. Then we poured so much, now we have to pull back. And the way the economy and everything is going, we're going into recession. Although Jay Powell and people are saying it's not a recession, it is a recession. So that's something that's hit big. Seeing that, Chipotle is going to continue to increase their costs. They said come August, they're going to raise their costs even more. And they said higher households are the one that are purchasing Chipotle. That is a goddamn lie, because I have seen some people that'll scrap money together and they are the ones buying Chipotle. So for anyone that's saying that Chipotle is for higher incomes, no, because I've seen people all different income levels that are going in there. So you are not about to tell me it's just strictly for higher income. Microsoft has also said that an impact for them was the foreign exchange rate as to why their profitability wasn't as much as others had expected before. And they still show promise and see future gains in revenue as they continue going forward, which is important for the market because a lot of people look at Microsoft and Apple to help dictate the direction of how things are going. And they're also seeing a lot more longer commitments and contracts with their business clients. So that is something else that people like to see. Longer commitments means that they will continue to end up having revenue growth as we continue going forward. And another thing that I wanted to end up letting everyone know about, because we heard about Microsoft, we heard about Apple, is Bitcoin. So just flipping over into the cryptocurrency aspect of it, and I have it up on the screen for everyone to end up seeing. But Bitcoin is moving up. So it's sitting at 22,757. Shout out to the 757. That's how I'll be this weekend. But this is something that a lot of people have started to notice, some not as much just yet. But Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market is still correlated to stocks. Although people don't like to say it, some people feel that it's not true. At this current point in time, it still is. I have noticed there's been a similar correlation between like cryptocurrency and the big tech. So that's something that just to continue to look out for what ends up happening with them. But Bitcoin, again, right here, you can tell by a lot of their charts, they all go in the same direction. That's what they're all doing. Every single one of them, maybe Litecoin looks like it's pushing up a little bit faster. But if you look at them, they're all doing the same exact direction. Nothing is really changing when it comes to them. The only ones that are kind of staying stable are the stable coins, but everything is doing the same exact thing. Why? Because Bitcoin's doing it too. So it's all correlated. Whenever someone says, oh, they're not correlated to Bitcoin, unless they have a lot of use cases and they're doing something very different, they're all going to be correlated. And if you look at this right here, Bitcoin basically has the 40% dominance. Only way that we'll end up having an altcoin season, just like everyone wants, this number has to go down. Ethereum's number can kind of stay the same, but you don't want Ethereum's number super, super high. But Bitcoin is 40% roughly, and Ethereum is 18% roughly. So between these two, this is 58% of the market, which only leaves about 42% left for everybody else. So that just tells you what is really happening in the market. A lot of people are keeping their money in Bitcoin, or they're keeping it in three that are in the top 10 right now. USDT, which has $65 billion, USDC, which has $55 billion, and BUSD, which has $17 billion. So between them, that's over $100 billion. And that's over 10% of the overall market cap in cryptocurrency. And that's just between three. I can keep going down for you because DAI is right here at 7 billion. So we can continue to do this, but there's a lot of money that is in stables, or they're putting it into higher up cryptocurrencies that are there. Next thing I wanted to end up bringing up was people, and I've seen this on different sites, but they are saying that ticketing is going to be an important aspect when it comes to NFTs. I am a firm believer of it. I firsthand saw it when I went to the DGods NFT event. It was in our wallet. And that's the exact definition of tickets being used as NFTs. I used it out of my wallet, scanned it. Phantom was there. They ended up scanning it, and then I was able to get into the event. So I do believe firsthand that that is something that we will continue to see. It ain't in my wallet no more. But that was what happened with that one. Coinbase is something else that people have been talking about. Coinbase continues to drop. They're saying we can expect more of a drop coming from Coinbase. So that's just something else to pay attention to. They have a lot of issues that are going on over there. People last year and the year before, they were investors in Coinbase and they believe such big things, but now they're having to backtrack because certain cryptocurrencies that they might have listed on their exchange, they should not have had listed on their exchange. Pangolin is the next one on the list. So Pangolin, shout out to Pangolin. We had Leo last year on the show. I'll end up pulling them up as I end up talking about it, but we got the exchange and then we have the token. We'll do the token. But this is the PNG token. Pangolin is actually going to be moving over to the Flare network, which will allow for cross-chain cryptocurrency and swaps. So they're moving their exchange over there. Right now, it was on Avalanche, but they are going to be having it also on the Flare network, which is 2 layer 1 blockchains, and that is something you do like to see. So just going over to Pangolin. For everyone that is listening to this, I pulled up the PNG token for Pangolin. Now I pulled up the exchange. They have 56 coins that are listed there and 101 pairs that are on their website. They don't have an extreme amount of volume that is there, but at one point they were doing much better within their 24-hour trading volume. Of course, the big ones that you see, the top 3 are Avalanche between USDC, or you have it with USDT, and then you do have it with Ethereum, wrapped Ethereum. So those are kind of like the big ones that they have. It is a good sign to see that for Avalanche as well. Just it'll allow for you to swap and bridge cryptocurrencies from Flare network over to Avalanche. And then as they continue doing that, it will be something that is helpful. The other thing I wanted to end up bringing up was Unstoppable Domains. So they raised $65 million now to put their valuation at $1 billion. Domains is something that a lot of people say is going to be important. I do have one, not necessarily through Unstoppable Domains, but I do have a domain, and it can be linked to like your wallet address. So one of mine might be like shiftmovement.near or something like that. I know Airmon's, when I was sending money to him so I could take care of some of this to-go apparel that I'm going to end up getting, his is like airmons.soul. So simple things like that. And that is something that is cool. It's full ownership of that website, full ownership of that address, and you can end up personalizing and customizing it. So that's something else I just wanted to bring it to you all and just letting you guys know about. The next thing we're going to get into, if I can bring this up, is Photo Finish. So Photo Finish is a virtual horse racing site. If anyone has been hearing me talk about it, I brought it up a couple of times. They have big brains that are over there, not just Big Brain, who's an investor. They also have Coinbase, that's an investor. But the people that created Photo Finish, they have worked for like EA Sports, and they've helped with games such as Madden and things like that. I don't know if I can end up bringing it up this way. No, this is just more so their news, and I don't want to end up getting off of that. Might be able to click this for you guys. I'm just trying to see if there's a way so I can show you all more information on this. Let's see, because I've been using Photo Finish I've known about it for a couple of months. I remember when D-Stables was just getting off the ground, and then I end up paying attention to it more, and then I started to play around with it. So we'll go to meet the team just so you guys can see everything when it comes to this, but here's the team. So you have Ian Cummings, who's the founder. You have Paul Fleetwood, you have Brian Fleming, and you have their head of strategy that's right here. You have a principal developer, VP production, VP experience director, engineer lead. So they have a good amount of people here. Some of the investors like Folius Ventures, Reciprocal Ventures, Big Brain Holding, as I mentioned, Coinbase, Six Man Ventures, Maven Capital. And then you could just go right here if you want to, and you can click on Ian's LinkedIn. And then what you'll end up seeing from Ian's LinkedIn, I don't really care that you guys are going to start seeing some of my stuff. But once you end up going here, you can end up seeing he's the CEO. You go down and you'll see he's worked for FanDuel. He's worked for Pop-Up Play. He's worked for Zynga, someone else on the team. If we end up just going down, should be able to, you can look at Paul, and you can end up seeing what Paul has done in the past. They both worked for Glue Mobile, well, which is right here as the technical directors, but he worked for FanDuel as well. And he went to UCF. He has skills in like C++. And those things you just like to see as you get behind a team that's working on basically a video game. So that's just some of the things I wanted to end up showing you all super fast. I'll go back to where I was just so you guys can see that. And the horse racing bit was what I wanted to talk about. So I've also been in talks with like different stables to either help be a manager with them or see if I can end up trading with them some fillies. Not with this, because of course a lot of this is practice, but in my wallet, the goal is to continue to accumulate more fillies that are in the S grade and above, because that's what everyone wants. You want those better horses. In order to do that, you're going to need to breed like the stallions that are probably SS or S plus, and then have fillies that are S or S plus, and you continue to just go forward. It's more than just a week that this is going to take. So that's something else people need to know about. Just here's the marketplace. And as a heads up, if I see a horse on the beta version right now that I want to pick up, I will definitely do it. But since it's beta, also, this is just the amount I have. You start off with 450,000 of the Derby tokens, and the goal is you want to end up buying horses, you want to sell them, you want to breed them, you want to end up doing races. Do races that are ones you can realistically have a chance at potentially. So if you're a B horse, don't race with the S horses. It's just going to hurt your feelings more than likely, unless you have the underdog. But so here's some of the A horses. You have some of the A plus horses. You have a B plus horse that's there, A plus, and you have more of the A plus horses that are here. I don't see any fillies or any mares, so that's not one that I'm necessarily caring about right there. They just had a race that just happened not too long ago. 4 horses were in it. And then you always want to end up looking up like your horse compared to how many furlongs are going to be happening. Is it right turn, left turn? Is it turf? Is it dirt? Some of them are grass. Is it soft or firm? Is it raining? All that stuff goes into play with this. And just looking at mine, so I have like 2 or 3 that are, well, 1 that's race eligible right now. I have 1 that I have out to stud. Clearly nobody wants to breed with it, but it's whatever. If you want to breed with them, like homies out there, his name is Drake. I didn't name him Drake. Person had him before me named him Drake, and I just kept the name Drake. but he's an S minus. So that's why I'm keeping him. I don't want to give up an S minus. If I wanted to, I could sell him. It won't be for much because he's already retired. You want to sell the ones that are still race able and then let other people make that decision. Other goal for me is, especially since this is something newer I started, you don't want to necessarily just buy a bunch of horses. You want to take time and then accumulate more money, but then also have the horses. So for example, I have probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 broad mares that are all going to end up producing foals next week. Whether they're colts or fillies, we'll figure that out. And then different grades matter too. So these are all just different things you need to go take into account. The one that I'm banking on probably the most, where are they at? These two. So these are both A pluses, and I bred them with an S or an S minus grade horse. So that's something you want to see. I can check to see what exactly I bred this one with. Nature Strip, I think it was it. Yeah. So bred her with an S plus. So more than likely it'll be an S minus or an S, which then goes well. So I'm hoping one of these two can end up coming out to be a filly. So then if that's an S, and then you end up breeding it with a stallion that's an S plus, then you're going to end up moving up towards an S or an S plus. And then as we keep going, we can get closer to the S plus, and then we'll be straight. So that's the goal of all of this. The other one is probably someone out there is going to be listening. I'm only going to race this horse maybe once or two more times for 2 more weeks. When it gets to at least like age 5, I'll put it up. I'm hoping I can get 2 to 3 more wins out of him too, and then just sell him. So the A's I would sell. If it was an S, I would probably put out there to breed. That's the other goal. So once I get a horse that's probably around like 4 or 5, S and S plus, you want to breed those, keep getting like your passive income from them. But that's it with that one. I don't think there's any races that are happening right now. The next one's at 9:42, so I'm not about to wait for that. But that's all I wanted to end up showing you there. Going into the sports world, I'll just talk about some quick notes, and I'll just be on Shams' page, and I'll go over to probably either Schefter or Ian Rappaport. But first thing is, which is a couple of days ago, Sharif O'Neal will play in the G League for the G League Ignite next season. So congrats to him. That's another athlete's son that is in the league. You can see that's right there again. Another thing is the Hornets are considering bringing back Kemba Walker. It's going to be weird because he'll be in a backup position. And that's mainly, hasn't been that many talking points when it comes to the NBA. It's kind of like that dead-ish season. The big thing, congrats to Mac McClung. He was from Texas Tech, but also from Georgetown. He's a VA native. So that's something you like to see. He signed with the Golden State Warriors. Greg Popovich was up in New York at a social justice summit. He's always been down for the cause, and that's something you do end up liking too. Next thing, Adrian Wojnarowski, he's probably not going to have much either because there hasn't really been much. Oh, but that's going to be crazy. So just an announcement when it comes to Brittany Griner. Sources say Brittany Griner's trial expected to end next week. Verdict and sentencing expected Friday. So we'll see how that ends up. Apparently, from what I've been hearing, is the U.S. is willing to trade for a Russian inmate currently to trade for Brittany Griner and someone else. We'll see if that ends up happening. Another thing just is out there is James Harden. So James Harden did sign his deal. So that was something that was promising, and they like to end up seeing that. He sacrificed money so that he can end up bringing a team around him. Well, around him and Joel Embiid with pieces like Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey. So that's that. There hasn't really been a lot. Everyone's waiting on what's going to happen with Kevin Durant. Monty Williams, shout out to him. He's agreeing to sign a long-term contract extension. The big thing has been a lot of the NFL teams have all reported back into training camp. So that's been exciting. We'll just go through stuff here. As you can see inside training camp, you have some people that are going to be at Green Bay, Cincinnati, Minnesota, San Francisco, Cleveland, New York, Carolina, Indianapolis, and Dallas. Those are going to be the places. Some notes from day one at Philadelphia Eagles. Hurts is mostly sharp as he was all spring. Jalen Reagor arrived in great shape and had a really nice day. I don't think he's going to be there. I'm sorry. One description of A.J. Brown, a massive RB after the catch. The next one is physicality has impressed. Gannon's D should take a big step in year 2. All of this it's training camp. There's not much you can end up saying from that or bringing from that. But some of the notes from Mike Garafolo is plenty of positive vibes surrounding rookie Nakobe Dean. That's a big one that they were seeing, like if he was healthy or not. Smart player, all business since he arrived. The team was never overly concerned with the pre-draft medicals, considered him in the second round. Intriguing player to watch. So we'll see how that ends up going, because they got two big dudes from Georgia. So that's going to be exciting to end up seeing them when they roll out. Aaron Rodgers talk. Patriots sign Devon Godcho has signed a 2-year extension worth $20 million with $17.85 guaranteed. The deal was negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus. Get your bread, but that's for the Patriots. The next one is the 49ers have officially released Dee Ford. KJ Wright is retiring. Another thing is that's Jets news. So that's the Jets right tackle. Some other news. The big thing has just been training camp. Everyone's excited about training camp. I'm personally not. I need to see them in preseason. And after preseason, I need to see week 1. Yeah, that's that. Travis Kelce agrees to terms on adjusted contract that gives him $3 million raise in 2022. He's getting his money because Tyreek Hill's gone. So we'll see what ends up happening with Travis Kelce, because they know his ass about to get the ball a lot more. Another thing is the Bucs have officially signed free agent Julio Jones. So giving him a 1-year deal worth $6 million base salary with the max of $8 million. So we can get some bread over there. Jimmy G's another thing we want to end up paying attention to. And I think that's mainly it. Yeah, Mike Tomlin announces Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to be on the NFI with the wrist injury he sustained on vacation. Thinks he fell off a bike. He does not anticipate it being a long-term problem. That would be some shit if Minkah Fitzpatrick is out because of an injury that he got on vacation. Because they be putting that stuff in the clauses. Another thing that, speaking of clauses, I'll bring up, and then we'll call it at that, is in Kyler Murray's new contract, they put that he has to end up watching film time outside of the mandatory film time that they end up having. I personally think that that's something that is fine for them to do. If you're signing this big ass contract for these athletes, you can put certain stipulations in there. Like if they can't go snowboarding, they can't go snowboarding. I'm giving you $200 million. You're going to have to make sure you're taking care of it. So more film session, it only just helps them, because if they're putting this big commitment, they want to make sure you are doing all that needs to be done for that. I'll never forget when they were talking about Jamarcus Russell, when they gave him film, it was blank, and he ended up saying it was good, and he didn't watch it. How they know he didn't watch it? Because it was blank. But so that's that. Last things are DK Metcalf. It was DK Metcalf. It was Deebo Samuel. And there's a third player that they all ended up coming to practice, but they didn't play. Well, they didn't participate. Let's see if we can find this really fast. Most times you can. Yeah. So Derwin James. So DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, and Derwin James are present but not practicing at training camp due to unresolved issues. So those are the three that aren't there yet. They want their contract issues taken care of, get their money. DK Metcalf, I honestly feel they need to trade him because Seattle's just going to waste his time. Deebo Samuel, give him his contract because he's one of those in college terms athlete. He'll do running back, receiver. He's not necessarily one of the others. So you're going to have to figure out which way you're going to pay them. Final thing that I want to say is the Carolina Panthers won in that deal that they've done, because the first thing is they got Baker Mayfield, which was the first pick in that draft, and they got Sam Darnold, which was the third. They didn't have to give up no first round picks for either of them. Baker Mayfield was like 4, 5, 6, one of those picks. Sam Darnold, it wasn't a first. So you got both of them. You get to try out both of them. You don't even have to pay Baker Mayfield's full contract this year. So you get to see what he's worth. And then Sam Darnold, you didn't have to start that big contract. You are paying now. So we will see what happens. But to have both of them on there, all I'm going to say is Josh Allen took a dub with that one. But with that being said, that's everything. I appreciate you all. As normal, we will catch you next week. Next week's going to be a big week. Remember, we have Solana, we have Near, we have podcast, and we'll have Steven dropping some stuff too. I appreciate that. Looking forward to get all the merch in that I've been putting out money for, so we can end up doing some merch reveals on there. Got wedding this week and got wedding next weekend, so I'll be talking to you guys about that too. And then college football preseason about to be around the corner. So with that, this Hayes, we out.